What's going on, awesome people, and happy Friday to each and every single one of you. I appreciate you tuning in to another episode of the Awesome People Instagram Live series, where I have the distinguished pleasure of chatting it up with some of the most awesome Persian entrepreneurs, artists, creators, and today's guest is definitely one of those individuals. It's going to be Orly Elyashar, also known as my ghost host. So I look forward to patching her in shortly as we can talk about the world of the cooking creativities that's going on, her amazing talents, her passion, her interest, her love for connecting with people, and all that good stuff. So stay tuned as I have that special guest. In the meantime, hello to all of you that are logging in slowly but surely. I appreciate you and welcome you to a special Friday episode of Awesome People Instagram Live. Friendly reminder that on Wednesday, December 29th, is our episode of Zendegi, the Persian music live stream that we have. It's a 5-hour special edition. 3 of our DJs, DJ Kia, Sam, and Yazdan, playing nothing but Persian music, celebrating our music and our artists. And it's going to be a fun time. So stay tuned. More information to come. The promotion material will be laid out soon. And if you don't know, I love to start my IG lives with 10 seconds of gratitude. So no matter how hectic your Friday is right now, I hope that you set aside just a few seconds for yourself to do a little reset, a little recalibration. And this is where I go 10 seconds of quiet. So join me if you like. All right. I hope you also took a few seconds to appreciate all the love and beauty around you, your family, your loved ones, your health, and anything else that you're grateful for. So don't forget, gratitude is a great way to kind of just do a calming reset in the crazy lives that we tend to lead on a day-to-day basis in our personal and professional work. All right, guys, it's enough about me. It's time to welcome the amazing guest that I have today. I just recently got to know her personally, and it's been a treat, and I can't wait to continue to build a great relationship and friendship with her. Is Orly coming on, and just drop a line, show her love. Come on, community. Let's definitely give her some good vibes as she logs on in 3, 2, 1. And there she is.
Good
Hi.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you as well. How are
Good
you?
afternoon to you, actually. Good
Thank
morning.
you. Officially, as of 2 minutes ago, it is afternoon over
That's
here, and you're in the Los Angeles area. So thank you so much for getting up early for us.
I am coffee at hand, so I'm a happy girl. We're golden.
Nice. And I speaking of golden, I love the beautiful portrait in the back and your necklace. Everything is
Oh,
looking
thank you.
so fabulous.
Thank you.
Pre-
This is actually my bedroom, and I like to keep it like warm, just have a very calm place to come home to. So
A zen feeling.
this is my space. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you
So,
for having me. And
of
it's been
course.
such an honor to get to know you and just what you're doing. And I told you, and you asked me, like, why did you connect with me? And I said, you resonated with me because, you brought a safe space for us Iranians that aren't necessarily like perfectly Farsi speaking. And so it's such an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. No, the honor is mine. And honestly, what I've been experiencing, especially in the last 2 weeks through these conversations, is like I can generally feel the community of people like us coming together, supporting each
Oh,
other, nominating each other. Just, it's a fun experience. And I appreciate you taking time out of your busy
thank you.
schedule to enhance this experience that we're building together. So thank you so much.
Thank you. No, it's all you, and I appreciate it. And what you're doing is so beautiful. Thank you.
I
On
love it.
behalf
Thank you.
of all of us.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let's get right into it. For those who don't have the pleasure of having to know Orly, aka My Ghost Host, can you give a little background of who you are and the story of My Ghost Host?
Of course. Hi, everybody. I'm Orly and Chef Orly, and I am a private chef here in Los Angeles. Um, I usually like to introduce myself as a recipe developer because over the years, I feel like that's what I've become. It kind of fell into my lap, and that's become my passion, just coming up with new stuff. I'm a mommy of 3 kids, actually, 2 kids and an adult. My daughter is 18, and my son is 15. My little one's 8. And so basically, my life is running around all day. Um, Married to my best friend for 20 years. And, I'm just a very grateful person. And I love sharing what I do. I love spreading joy and happiness. And a lot of people say, oh, why don't you sell your recipes. And I always say that's not who I am. I'm just here to literally share. If I make something yummy, I'm going to share with you so you make something yummy. And that's the bottom line.
And you do it so creatively. So what was the name My Ghost Host derived from?
So my ghost host came about when, and I'm sure people have heard, my friends know the story. So I was the one my friends would always call and say, "Hey, I have guests. Can you do that cheese board that you did at your house the other day?" So I'd go to their house with pleasure. I love doing stuff for my friends. So I'd just run over, do the, whatever they wanted, and I'd come back home. And so they'd say, "Oh, actually, you know what? Remember that dish? Would you come teach me how to do that? I want to cook it for my guests tonight." So I'd come and I'd do that. And so strangers started calling, and strangers would, give me the same offers. And I was like, kind of like a ghostwriter. I became a ghost host where I just come, set everything up, cook it up, set it up, and I'd leave. So it kind of just developed on its own. It's nothing that I had the intention of coming up with or implementing into my own life. It just kind of happened, and I have my friends to thank for it, I guess.
It's a creative name and very good branding. So I think you should trademark it and go with it because it's definitely
We're
unique
getting
to
there.
you. Yeah, for sure. So what about the actual passion for cooking in the first place? Like what was the catalyst behind that? Like did you grow up in the kitchen and mom,
Um,
grandma, somebody that you're like obsessed over and you just kind of
so
turned it
my
into?
grandmother, I always say my grandmother was this little, like she was literally 4'6", and she was so beautiful, as all of our grandmothers were. And she'd wake up every day with nowhere to go, but she would put on her silk shirt, her skirt, she'd put on her high heels, she'd fix her hair and go in the kitchen. And she'd just cook up something amazing. And she'd say, "Are you hungry?" We'd say, "No, we're not hungry." And 5 minutes later,
You can't say that to a Persian grandmother.
yeah, but she learned to ignore us. As in bad to onward, like she would have like a whole setup in 5 minutes.
God
So
bless her.
yes, I had food in my life. I had the love of eating in my life all my life, but there wasn't a passion for cooking. And my husband always jokes and says, the minute I had my son was the minute I became a mother-in-law in my own head and said, I need to become a better cook than his future wife. So that's the ongoing joke. Uh, but once I had kids, I always say this, when I got married, I didn't know how to boil water. Like
Mm.
I used to call my husband's best friend was a great cook. And when I wanted to impress my husband, I'd call him, he'd come over and he'd ghost host for me. So I didn't know
He
how to
was
do.
he was your ghost host.
He was my ghost host, exactly. So he'd come and do it, and I'd be like, "Here you go, sweetheart." And so it wasn't anything that was in my mind. I was always creative, and my mom always knew that because even when I was looking at colleges, she knew she never pushed anything super academic on me. She said, "Listen, there's a school in downtown. It's Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. I think it would be good for you." And that's where I actually ended up going. So I always was artsy. She was always very artsy, so she understood that. And so cooking came about once I had my kids. I wanted to cook for them, but like it wasn't good. And then I always say my mother-in-law was my aha moment because we'd go to her house and she has four boys and they'd sit around. She'd make the most incredible food and she's from Babol. And, their food is very different than, other areas, other
Right.
regions. So I was like, what is this stuff? Like,
You were getting exposed to the most unique elements of Persian food.
yeah, she'd be like, yeah, this is lale bilich or bim komgolo, like these like names that I had never heard of, but they blew my mind. And I saw how food brought her family together. These four big grown men were sitting around her table. And so that really, really resonated with me because I'm all about family. I love, it's everything to me.
Hmm.
So I actually was like, okay, if I'm gonna do it, and I'm that person, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. So I went to culinary school, jumped right into it. I learned the classic way of cooking, though that's really not the way I cook. It was a good base, and just something sparked. It was my therapy, became my therapy. When I'm sad, I cook. When I'm happy, I cook. When I'm nervous, I cook. When I'm having anxiety, I cook. So it really became my place that I go. So once I started doing it, and just the soul food I got from people's response when people would come to my house and do that first bite and their eyes would light up, I'm like, I mean, what else do I want out of life? So that's kind of how it started.
So that's how you got the creative parts of making your original recipes. Like I was looking at like your lavashak salmon
Yeah.
dish, you know. I mean, like who would ever consider, I mean, like the entire time while I was watching the video, I was like, this is giving me anxiety. But then I was like, I think she actually made this work, and now I want to try lavashak salmon, you know. So you've gone the very creative route
Yeah,
of
it's
kind of
fun.
putting
You
your own
gotta play with
signature
your
on it.
food. You gotta play with your food. I was that kid. I played with my food.
So
And
so tell, go ahead.
you have to explore, get out of your comfort zone. And sometimes it's gonna suck and sometimes it's a disaster. And I even show that on my post. When I have a fail, I'm like, fail. But it's
I
a
feel
learning
like these lessons that you're learning from cooking is very transferable to life, no?
100%. I mean, everything, it teaches you patience. I think cooking is a meditation. It's obviously a creative process, but yeah, it's very parallel to everything life has to offer you. It's exactly what it is.
So you mentioned how much, you know, you love seeing your mother-in-law make food that brought four grown men. You love cooking for your family, but
Yeah.
obviously in the past year, you know, you've really expanded your community and your friends through the beauty of social media, you know. So kind of touch on like what an impact that has had on your life. I mean, even right now, you have so many of your friends and followers that are showing you
Thank
so
you,
much
everyone.
love. How has that kind of like added to the incredible experience that you're having as a chef?
Um, Human connection is really important to me. I will never stand in a line, and if you're like, and not talk to someone. If you're standing next to me, you're going to be talked to. That's how I am. So this platform has actually given me that on a very much larger scale. I have made connections with people like, okay, you and I. When would you
Right.
and I have ever met?
Yeah.
You know? So or people like Bita Melanian or like these people that I would have never connected with, and now like she's become like a sister to me. So um, I think this platform has given me so much, not only in the culinary world. I think it's given me something socially, and the messages I get. Um, I got a message the other day of a girl who said, I was just watching one of your videos and my mom passed away. And that's how she used to make it. And I never got the recipe, but this is it. And so I want to thank you because I feel like I got a part of her back. And I was like, so I'm like crying.
Amazing.
It's
Amazing.
just so it's not just food. I don't feel like I'm just making food. I feel like I'm connecting with people on such, I want to use the word spiritual. It's a spiritual level because, and I think especially these past 2 years, we've been so deprived of human connection that we're clinging on to, whoever's willing to listen or connect with us. So this platform has really done that for me, and I think it's beyond me just cooking and showing you how to make it.
Yeah.
It's deep work.
And you know what I've really appreciated in the past couple of years is the camaraderie between all these Persian chefs and creators. You know,
Oh
like
my God.
I see so much cross collaboration, so many IG live, especially during like the harder parts of quarantine and stuff. And that's been beautiful because collectively, what you guys have done is not just entertain and inspire and motivate our own people, but you've introduced our food and cuisines to the non-Persian. So you know, so we can
Oh
be
yeah.
proud of what we're presenting. Touch on that a little bit.
I think our main goal as
And there is Bita actually just coming in. So hello to Bita,
hi
who's
Bita.
been
Bita,
who's been the ultimate connector of these type of things.
I actually just spoke about you, Bita, and I said I wouldn't have met you on this level had it not been for this platform and how you've become such a sister to me. So I appreciate it for that reason.
She's
Um,
awesome.
uh, what did you say? What was the question?
Basically, just the experience of being able to collaborate with so many fellow creators and just the bond, a sister. I see a lot of sisterhood and brotherhood, and
Oh,
it's just
totally.
beautiful to see. You know, I love the cooking world community of you guys coming together.
And in the background, what you guys don't know is that we have a WhatsApp chat from all the chefs from IG around the world. And we're
Wow.
constantly,
How many people is it? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot missing, but how, I can only imagine it's a lot of you.
a lot of us, I think this is about 40 something,
Wow, I love
and
it.
we're constantly joking and checking up on each other. And if someone isn't responding, you say, okay, what's going on? You really, we've become family for sure. And I can't explain it. It's beyond this. It's beyond this platform. I think the bonds and the relationships and the friendships that all of us have developed beyond our love of food is just so beautiful. And yeah, it's just I want to say that it's beyond this. It's beyond what you see. I think this platform has brought so much for us.
What is the goal of the platform? Obviously, you've grown so much in the past year. It seems like personally, spiritually, you know, business pagey.
Yeah.
What's your goal? What's your true like next step?
Um, I've always been a person that I never focused on one thing. Um, I'm always thinking of a million things in my head, and my intention was never this. Like, it was never to become like this big or known, or like, it was never this. It was always, I'm just going to cook and I'm going to show you how to make this. That was
Mhm.
always my intention. My ultimate goal, I think I would love to leave a legacy for my own children and have a cookbook. So for me, it's as simple as that. And I don't care if it's big. I don't care if it's like, an international thing. I want my children to have something tangible in their hands from me. That's what I want.
That's beautiful. I
Yeah.
love that. And so I have a question. There might be some people watching here and they're like, you know, oh my God, I love Orly. I follow everything. I wish I could. She inspires me. What word of advice do you have for the Orleys that are maybe in their 20s or at any age, actually? This is such a beautiful thing that you could do at any age if you have a
Oh, any
passion for food.
age,
So,
for
but
sure.
what is the next step if they want to? And it's not even about the followers. It's about that connection that you're having every human being wants that connection, you know. And so what are the steps? What advice do you have?
The first step is just to be yourself. Don't be anything else but yourself. Be genuine. People read right through you. I think in this platform, if you're BSing or if you're obnoxious or if you're in it for the wrong reason, it's very transparent. If you're genuine and kind and loving and you're in it for the right reason and you are willing to grow and connect, and you know what, I try to respond to all my messages, and I really really try to develop genuine relationships with everyone. So the advice is be genuine in your intentions. If you're in it for the money, and that's totally cool too, um, it's not going to happen without heart at all. So just be yourself. And don't let anyone stop you. I remember everybody in the beginning when I was doing this, they were like, why are you wasting so much time doing this stuff? And I was like, I don't feel like I'm wasting time. I'm just doing what I love. And so just do what you love. Just follow your heart. And I know that's so cliche and that's so like, you hear that all the time. Just go about life very genuinely and be transparent and show yourself wholeheartedly to everyone without a mask on, without anything. And that's really what's helped me. I'm just myself.
Love it.
Yeah.
No, and definitely that radiates for sure. Your authenticity, your genuinity, and your genuine interest in
Likewise,
connecting with people, it definitely shines.
likewise
Um,
for you too.
thank you.
For the same way.
What appreciate it. What is it about Persian culture specifically that you've been wanting to integrate into what you do? Because you could just be making
Oh
chicken
yeah,
parmesan and stuff, which I don't know how often you go beyond the culture, but I'm sure you do. But in
yeah.
general, I know you're passionate about presenting our culture. Why our culture? Why is it important to you?
I left Iran when I was 4 years old. So technically, I'm not supposed to be this this in love with our culture. The connection isn't supposed to be this big, but it is. And I think it's because our food is not just food. I always say behind that orma sabzi is there's such a labor of love. And Iman, honestly, like for me, Persian food is a slice of home. It's a piece of my grandmother. It's you know how certain foods trigger memories? I think we try to hold on to that and bring it back. So that's why we cook Persian food and bring it into our home. It's important for my children to know who they are. They're Iranian. They were born here, but for me, it's important for them to know they're Iranian. My 18-year-old speaks, Farsi and she understands it. And I beam with pride. I'm like, yes, I'm so like brings me so much joy. I play Persian music in my car. I've taken them to like Moyen concerts. So it's important for me because if we don't, it's gonna die out. And it's our responsibility. And what a shame if it does. So I think every one of us needs to do what we can. If I'm gonna make korma sabzi and that's my role in preserving our traditions, then that's what I'm gonna do. So we all have to do
Yeah,
something. Just like, you bring
yeah.
on all these people, you're bringing in on all these people, they're doing their part.
I'm getting emotional just like thinking about what you're saying because this is what I truly love about what we're doing at Unite and Conquer is the fact that I have the same feeling, but I don't have any cooking talents. I don't have any musical talents or
Doesn't
singing
matter.
talent. But no, I know. But and I'm like, this is what I love about my day
But
to
you're
day
doing it.
these days.
And
I know,
I'm
and,
saying,
and I'm just saying it's great. Like the common denominator is that I think because of the absence of our connectivity to our homeland by be like as far as being on the actual land, we're trying to do whatever we can to be connected to it and also pass it on to the next generation. And you're doing it with your children, you're doing it with your family, you're doing it with your community, and that's an amazing feeling. Like that's like our obligation, apparently. It's
it's
like our
our
purpose to
obligation.
be in there, and that's awesome. And like speaking of I believe it's your daughter, but there's a beautiful picture of a Tadi and her just kind of sitting over there. That is like it is your daughter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so, like, what have your children's reactions been? Both the 18-year-old and like the 8-year-olds when they see mommy like doing such amazing things and building such a community. Is it also like motivating them to be in the cooking and culinary world or any of
Not
that nature?
a,
they're just the recipients of great food, huh?
no, 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 no. My daughter's theory is why should I cook when you're here? Like what?
She's smart. She's smart. Work
So I
smarter, not harder.
Yeah, so I beg them and I say, just come stand next to me and just look at what I'm doing. Zero interest. And I don't blame them. I had zero interest at their age too.
Yeah,
It'll come. I mean, if it does, it does great.
yeah.
And if it doesn't, they have their own path. But my children, okay, I'll give you an example, okay? Did I lose you?
I can hear you. I think there's a little
Okay,
bit of
I'll give
lag.
you a perfect example, all right?
Sure.
So yesterday you were on a live with Mahtab. And
Yes.
and I had you on speaker. I had you on my phone. My daughter was sitting in the car, and at the end you said, "Tomorrow my guest is Orly Elyashar, the ghost host," and she goes, and like I
Uh,
I think for them, just for someone else to say their mom's name
nice.
is so big, and it's such a small Persian community here in Los Angeles that when, we go to mehmoonies or parties, my daughter looks just like me, the older one. And they say, "Oh, are you Orly's daughter? Oh, I love your mom. I cook her stuff all the time." So now she's like, Mom, I saw your friend. I'm like, who? She's like, I don't know. Like, for them, it's just, they're at an age where
Yeah,
it's a little embarrassing.
it's part of being a kid, growing up, and then 40 years down the road, they're gonna be like, I have memories of my mom making incredible food, and in some shape or form, they're gonna integrate food into their life. Tell
Oh,
me about, just because I see deep admiration for your mom, your mother-in-law, your grandmother. Tell me of the role of Persian women in your life and how proud you are of being among such great group of human beings that are such
huge,
great examples to our culture.
huge. Um, so I always say, like, my mom needs her own show because she is a Shirzan. Life has knocked her down 10,000 times, and she has gotten up 10,001 times. And what she always embedded in my head is, what's the worst that can happen? They, they say no. So she always encouraged me to go about everything with a lot of strength and with zero fear, knowing that the worst, she always said, what's the worst thing that can happen? And when you put that into perspective and you ask yourself that, like, what's the worst that can happen? So she really, really, really inspired me to be strong and to take risks and to know that the worst thing that can happen is a lot of times in our heads, bigger in our heads than in reality. So she's an inspiration. My mother-in-law, and I mean, so many women, my friends, my children, even my daughters inspire me every day. I get inspired by, a random woman walking down the street. So I get inspired by everybody.
Well, the Shirzan DNA has definitely trickled down to you. You're a great role model to a lot of people, and I appreciate all the effort that you put into it, the heart, the soul, the passion, the kindness, the positivity. All that stuff makes the world a better place. So as much as I would love to continue talking, I just want to say thank you for making time for these 30 minutes to share your story. It's been a pleasure getting to know you more. And I hope that you continue to make people happier, more joyful, more soulful by the amazing creations that you create. So appreciate you very much, Orly. I can't wait to continue seeing you grow and flourish.
Thank you. And I want to thank you, Iman. Honestly, circling back to what you said, you are so doing a big part in all of this because you're bringing in so many wonderful people, connecting all of us. So I don't want you to discount how massive your contribution is to all of us. So thank you. You are, and I consider you, a brother now, whether or not.
It's my pleasure.
We're
it's
family.
My pleasure. Yeah, for sure.
Or not, we're family.
And just because of that, I hope to come to your house and enjoy this amazing food that you're making in person too. So enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, and we'll be in touch to do bigger and better things together too. This is just the beginning.
Cheers to that, guys.
Let's go. Cheers. So thank you. While Orly is signing off, first of all, thank you to her for making time, and wish you guys a wonderful rest of the Friday. And speaking of all these awesome people, if you have an awesome person that you'd like to recommend and nominate for me to conversate with, for me to have on future IG Lives, please feel free to message me with a profile of somebody. Tell me why you think they're awesome. Again, we're looking for the most awesome Persian entrepreneurs, artists, creators, anybody that's doing something amazing for our culture, for our community, to bring us together. Let's continue to put a spotlight on them. Let's continue to put them on big stages. Let's continue to root for them, rally for them, support them, be kind to them, and hopefully we continue to thrive as a community and be a great example for the rest of the world. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget December 29th, a special episode of Zendegi, a Persian music live stream. Looking forward to having you guys there. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Unite and Conquer. I have an Awesome People podcast there. There's been a great podcast episodes there. We have past Zendegi episodes if you want to enjoy some Persian music. And in general, the goal is to just unite us and strengthen us for the good. So be well, enjoy your Friday, be safe, and much love.